you absolutely probably celebrate WrestleMania week. So happy WrestleMania week. This is the TFW podcast. Rhodesia, what episode is this?
120.
Episode 120. I'm your host,
I
Matt,
guess.
joined by
Yes.
my co-host. Is it 120?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, you got excited. Don't even know if it's that's the.
So the one thing about a salesperson, you have to be confident in what you're selling. So even if it's a little off, you still got to be confident in what you're selling.
I see. 120. It is 120.
Nah.
Rhodesia is in the house. Eshaun is in the house. What up, y'all?
Happy Easter.
What's going on?
Happy WrestleMania week. Wait, I didn't mean make that sound happier than Easter. I'm going to use that same excitement on
You
both.
definitely a
Happy
blasphemer.
Easter.
You blasphemer.
I'm a blasphemous. You made up a new word.
Blasphemous.
Okay, now you in the 60-second penalty box.
Yeah, all right. I go ahead and mute up. Y'all go ahead.
No, never mind. No. We need you to host. So come back.
Nope, go ahead. I got 60 seconds. I'm out.
All right. Welcome to WrestleMania week. Eshaun, how do you feel? Like we are here after countless weeks of us arguing, going back and forth. Somebody's going to be helly right this week, or somebody going to be helly wrong this week. How you feel coming into this week?
It's like I do every day, y'all. You know? It's just I just feel calm because I feel like I'm finally gonna be able to finish the story. You know, Cody and I are gonna finally be able to accomplish a feat for our daddies. I mean, this is, it's great. Life's good.
Did you see this video? A little girl was crying to her mama saying that Cody was dead. Did you get a chance to see that on Twitter?
Oh, y'all gonna bring that up? Are you guys
So you
gonna
did
bring
see
up
it?
your responses to the video?
Oh
of
yeah,
little girl on
I said
Twitter?
she said she was a deadbeat mom for letting her daughter watch that. But I will say this, and we'll bring this up later on in the show because we're going to talk about Cody. I know you have something on him to talk about. I don't remember the last time outside of John Cena that people actually had that feeling toward a wrestler. Like the whole, oh my God, I'm crying because this person who just got beat up, I think they're dead. Granted, she's a little girl, but like it is pretty amazing to see somebody that's in wrestling, and everybody know wrestling's a work now, just to be able to have that same emotion. So I'm giving your boy props.
You guys, I'm not going to divulge the comments in these chats.
Oh, I already
but
said my comment.
These two, and the one we gonna bring on Tuesday, I'm not gonna mention his name. They are some effing heels. I can't
See.
use them with family because my mom is visiting from out of town. So I'm gonna keep it total PG today. But they are just some effing heels. No, there's a reason why they want to see ones, because they want to disappoint millions of kids and children all over the world so they can have this deadbeat wrestler, deadbeat champion actually, who only defends the championship twice a year, get some kind of record to beat racist Hulk Hogan. Like, this bunch of big heels.
Talking about racist Hulk Hogan, did you see that picture on Twitter floating around?
What happened?
So Jesus coming out of the tomb on Resurrection Sunday, and he's dressed up as Hogan, talking about some know how to say for me. I popped so hard. I'm like, a little blasphemous. Matt posted it on Twitter, a little blasphemous, but that was hilarious.
God damn it, Hogan.
So we're starting episode 120. Is us three, your usual suspects, three the hard way, as Matt would say. I think his 60 seconds should be up by now. If not, that was a long 60
minutes.
seconds. I would say, because I can't hold nothing much longer than that.
To be brought back in. That's all. Like, it's time to. You got to sit down. You got to be putting time out, and you got to be brought back. And I was listening, and E trying to downplay. E's heart rate's got to be about 180 right now, beats per minute. It is do or die time for him and the Cody fans. In less than this time, actually, in 7 days, his heart rate will be 200 beats per minute because he knows it's go time. At this point, my assumption is going to be Seth then somehow is out of the equation, and we're thinking like, okay, yep, Drew's absolutely winning the title from him tonight. Jey Uso, I will give predictions next week, has already lost to Jimmy. Something's happened to him. He may not be able to help out in that main event. And we know now it is bloodline rules and anything goes. And the entire Cody Rhodes fan base and family are scratching their heads and worried of, oh Shap, how are we going to do this thing? Spoiler alert, he's probably going to do it. But that's what's going to happen 7 days from now. And then, Rhodesia, you're telling the story about Hulk Hogan. What he said was,
oh,
that's not going to work for me, brother. That's what he said.
Got it.
Yeah,
And I
that makes
know
more
that. I know,
sense.
and I know
That
what
that
that
is
means
what Hogan
now.
That makes
always
more sense.
Yes,
used
yes,
to
that's
say.
not gonna work for me.
That's what he's always say.
It's not gonna
But
work for me, brother.
so this is where I think we should start. Let's start with The Rock's IG caption. I want to get your guys' thoughts on what he posted on Friday. So on Friday, he posted a video of him still beating down Cody after Raw goes off the air. So the video kind of starts like right at that point, and you hear the producer say cut or clear is what he said. And The Rock is still going. I'm sure everybody's seen the video. I'm sure you have also read his caption, but just in case, I want to read it really quick. Rock says, I hate constraints and bullshit rules. Just because some WWE producer says clear, meaning we are no longer live on air and the show is over, it doesn't mean I just stop whatever I'm doing and tell everyone great job. It fucking pissed me off. I can't shut my high emotions off just because a script says we're done. But even in this crazy fucking world of pro wrestling, this is a microcosm of a larger issue I have with individuals, corporations, and governments telling us what we can or can't do. You have to do it this way. You have to say it that way or you'll get canceled. They create fear if you have a different perspective and don't live by their rules. It's their way or no way. Fuck that. I say it the way I want to say it. I do it the way I want to do it. My choice, our choice. Fuck your clear. Final boss. Where does that come from? In your
His
guys'
whole
opinion?
life. Well, part of it is a work. He's saying that because some of those same institutions he's damning right there, he's part of it. He's on the board, but it's also a shoot. You're an athlete. Yes, this is sports entertainment, so it's predetermined, but you want me to change into this character or be vicious. It's just like telling a football player after that snap is over, calm your emotions down. So it's just a work, shoot, work, however you want to look at it. It comes from his real life experiences. That's the reason why he is so passionate when he speaks and when he put on promos. But at the same time, it's all work. It's just get people to get excited about him. This, again, he's a master at what he does. So this is just another example of the countless things he's done just on this go back around that makes him who he is.
The Rock got to lay down for my boy Cody Rhodes, but he got to stand up when it's time to reelect our new president. I'm here. I got my vote. I'm voting for The Rock. For the he gonna be laying candy asses down. You know what I'm talking about? I can't wait till that man run for president, man. I'm against him right now. But when it's time for him to run, I'm voting the man this year. I don't like either one of them old man. Hey, I'm sorry, anybody who's a fan of the current people running for. I'm not a fan of either one. It's gonna be some hard times when it's time for me to cast this. I might write the Rock in right now.
I'm writing his ass in right now. Or you gonna write Dwayne Johnson in?
No, I'm probably.
Gonna call him Mark.
It depends. It depends. What happens after Mania? Because some shenanigans happen. I have to stop watching WWE. He gonna be Dwayne.
You gonna write in Tony Khan?
Tony.
He's gonna write in TK. That's it. Just TK.
Is Tony short for
TK?
Anthony? Is he really Anthony? He gonna type in Anthony Khan right in there.
And there's a guy. There's a voter from Atlanta that writes in TK. One vote for TK. We don't know who 2K is. We'll try to find out. Back to you in the studio. When I saw that, he's back. He's back at home. Is what he is. So Rhodesia, you talked about like the work and shoot piece. Yeah, so he's working in regards to like that part about the corporations and such, right? That's the wherever he's going, that is that piece. But I do think he absolutely feels that first like paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, okay, you told me clear. Great. That means I know we're off. And what we're starting to see, Rock is way more of a pro wrestler than he was ever an actor. Because that shit ain't gonna fly in Hollywood.
Nope.
Right? There's a fight scene and you yell cut. He's gonna stop.
Right.
Right? He's not walking on set with goosebumps on top of goosebumps on his arms and his wrists and his forearms. That ain't happening. And I think that he has gotten bit by this wrestling bug probably more than he thought. Being in it as much as he is now every week, because this is not all right, let me show up every 3 weeks. I got 4 appearances from January to April before Mania, and then I'm doing some at Mania, and then I'm out. He is completely and utterly enthralled in this environment now. And I think this is doing something to him that he probably didn't even realize he maybe still had in him, which is incredible. Such a great piece of business. Rhodesia brought up the little girl crying, which I love that little girl. I don't even know her. I saw her. I was just like, man, I love her. But that's what it's about, right? Like, and everybody watches wrestling for different reasons. I talk about that a lot. No matter how you consume it, it's just great that you're consuming it. But for me, I consume it to feel something, right? It's just not athleticism. Some people watch it just for the moves, and that's fantastic. Hopefully they're getting what they want out of it. But when we can see a little girl like that balling out thinking that Cody Rhodes died on TV, right? When this whole groundswell of support for Cody Rhodes, and yeah, it's still a little too much, I think, for some people in terms of how his fan base acts at times. But for us to get that groundswell, that is from emotional investment. That is what this is about. So when Cody does win that championship, if it is on Sunday, we'll talk about that, of course, on Wednesday's pod. Those same people who cried are going to be elated. And the same people who were happy that Roman had it will be pissed off. And we continue that cycle of emotional investment, which is just like, at the end of the day, that is why WWE is so popular right now, because we gravitate to these folks and we love these people that we watch because we are invested in their story. I was looking at something yesterday, and they had like a little bit of the WrestleMania card, and I'm looking at just not the build, not the who I think's going to win or who should win, just the wrestlers. And I'm like, man, there's a ton of emotional investment on this show. And it's like, that's fantastic. I am more excited about this WrestleMania. The last WrestleMania I was probably this excited about is probably I can't remember. I really can't remember. What about you guys? When's the last time you've been this excited on a Sunday leading up to WrestleMania Saturday or Sunday? You know, if it was one day, it was one day, or of course now we're in the 2-day cycle. But can you guys think of a time where you were this amped already a week out with no go-home shows yet produced for Mania?
I'm going to say every Mania, it gets more excitement for me each year, except for in the COVID days when there wasn't live people there. That would be the only other times, but just because we had fortunately been able to go to all those shows. So it also came with that excitement of the WrestleMania grind and the week of going in the access, going to this, going to other shows. So as far as Manias for me, I'm always excited for Mania week. You know, you have Christmas, you have Easter, and you have WrestleMania week. And then to me, that's just like kind of how it's always been for me. So I've always been that way. Probably the one time I would say I was the most excited for Mania, it had to have been, they were in Florida. I can't remember if it was Miami. It might have been Miami. So it was at 27, or I'm just making up some years.
You talking about Rock and Cena?
Rock and Cena. So was that the first Rock and Cena? Yep. And I just remember that was my first time really getting into the press conferences they had. I was at work, like streaming it. I don't even know how I pulled that off, the streaming of it. But I was able to watch like some of those. Stephanie McMahon had some press conferences and stuff. So I got really hyped then. But just for Mania, I'm excited every Mania. That's why I know I love this thing called pro wrestling. Every Mania is just as exciting for me.
I would probably say this has been probably the most excited I've been for a Mania. Last year, I was kind of there for that one, especially for the Cody Roman match. But top to bottom, I think this is probably one of the better cards. Because Matt knows, like, I've been anti-WWE for, like, when we would go to those shows, like in 2015 and 2016, and like I was there for the experience, and I was there to have fun with my family at a wrestling show. I didn't really care about the card too much. I actually didn't really like the event much. I can't really say I've been excited for any of those matches. I was really anti-WWE. I tried to hang on as a fan as long as I could, but when Black and Gold NXT came, I was like, all right, I'm good on WWE. I'm straight. When AEW came, I'm really good on WWE. I'm straight. But I would say probably this year is probably my most, probably has the most excitement I've had for Mania in a long time. I can't think of the last time I've had this much excitement for a Mania. It's probably been over 15 years.
I'm the same way. At this level, yes, every year I'm excited for Mania. Hell, I wouldn't have been going all these years if I was not excited. Last year was special because we were getting Roman and Cody, excuse me. And the word was, okay, it's Cody's time, right? It was only a handful of us that thought Roman would still win. And so it wasn't even about that. It was about, all right, this is probably the biggest match they could put on right now. And they had some great matches, but the build just wasn't all the way there. This year, and there's still a couple matches, 2 in particular, that I'm like, it's going to be good, but I don't care about it. Every other match, I'm here for. From a storyline perspective, from a character perspective of what they're going to do, almost to the point of, like, when we do our prediction pod on Wednesday or preview, I almost don't want to, like, think too deep into it. Like, this is one of those, and this is how I know I'm really excited for. And we're not going, so I am catching the case of FOMO for sure.
Big time.
So I hope
I'm a hater FOMO right now.
I hope it's cold. I hope it snows for all y'all. I hope all y'all catch colds out there. But no, I'm just joking. I hope everybody has an incredible time. If this is your first time, you are going to be blown away at the experience of what Mania is. But I almost want to just like sit back and like just watch. Like Matt asked me a question a few days ago. And he asked me, still just to show you how much we just love wrestling, right? One of the first things he says this morning when I wake up and, you know, we're in the kitchen cooking and dyeing eggs for Easter and doing that whole fun thing. He's like, all right, dude. So, like, is Cody beating Roman or not on Mania? That's like one of the first things he says, like, on Easter Sunday. And I was like, well, man, you only got 7 days to find out, to figure out. And I've already, you know, put my prediction out there with what Night 2 should look like. Which also is a little bit of a gut punch because now everybody's on this Avengers thing. And it's like, not to say I was the first person ever to say it. I hadn't heard anybody say it before I said it. But now everybody's kind of saying it like it's their idea. Like, oh, it's happening. It's like, man, I said that almost a month ago. But I almost don't want to think too much about it. It's like I just want to sit down and like whatever happens in any of these matches, they happen. Because I feel like if I think too much on it, I'm going to call it right. And then that kind of a little bit takes it away from it. But I haven't been like that in forever. Yeah, it's always 1 or 2 matches where I'm dialed in for it. But a full card, 2 days of what we're going to get, and then you put on top of that the Roman Reigns documentary. And yes, Heyman is a salesperson, but Heyman had an interview with Rich Eisen a few days ago where he says that, you know, he executive produced this A&E documentary, and their goal was, 1, for it to be a completely different type of documentary that they've produced so far being WWE, and for this to be the best documentary ever shown on A&E TV. So now I'm locked in for that. And then we got the Bray Wyatt documentary. After we get Rock, Roman, I'm sure Jade, Jimmy, Cody, everybody on Raw Monday. And then we go to all the, CM Punk's going to be on the Ariel Helwani show. We know we got to talk about that on Wednesday for sure. We know we're going to get headlines from that. It's just, there is just so much to gravitate to. Oh, yeah, and then we got the Hall of Fame. And then we got Ring of Honor on Friday night. And then we got, of course, Mania 1 and 2. We are just chock full of content to watch this week and try to consume and talk about. It is just an incredible time to be a wrestling fan, in particular a WWE fan. We've talked about it, like Collision was last night. I watched maybe like 15, 20 minutes of it. I saw Ricky Starks doing some worry. Ricky Starks was hurt. He came out and said that he's good. I guess he just had a stinger. So awesome for that. You never want to see anybody get hurt. I saw Matt Cardona show up and challenged Adam Copeland for the title, which was really cool. But like, WWE is just clicking right now. You know, where some of those moments that we're getting, I probably will be higher on. But now I'm just like, all right, I'm locked in on what we're going to see on Raw. All right, I'm locked in on what we're going to see on SmackDown. All right, I'm locked in on what we're going to see on WrestleMania. So it'd be fun to see, like, if that pivots a little bit. We know that WWE is still going to be fantastic after Mania, but Rock's going to shoot a movie for 2 months. And I think we probably would go back and look at our show, maybe for the last, 10 episodes. We've led with Bloodline, Rock, Cody. So if we take that away, it's just going to be fun to see how we consume wrestling going forward come April 9th or whatever that Monday is.
Or we don't have
Speaking
to
of
worry about. We don't have to like think about that. It could just be a way of life. The bloodline can just retain, and we can still just talk about the bloodline for the next 6-7 months. How about that?
Wednesday's show's gonna be fun. Brandon's
Mhm.
gonna be on. If that's your true thought, I am excited to hear E's rebuttal to you, and then of course I'll give up all my thoughts on what that should look like at the end of night 2.
So our
So
Wednesday show
SmackDown-
should end with like all of us slamming our laptops, right? And then cut. Fuck
Mm,
your cut. Make
maybe.
it clear.
Actually, yeah, you just say what The Rock said. Just because we press that stop button don't mean we stop this podcast. Fuck Riverside. Like, we just go all the way in. Fuck your corporations. So let's talk about SmackDown. Maybe more importantly, Rhodesia, we saw Jade Cargill, and I'm throwing it to you because you are the female voice of the pod. Take it away. I was blown away. E, I'm sure you were blown away. Rhodesia, what you got?
I actually have a couple questions to ask you on that, but just want to tell you kind of my thoughts of. We knew Jay was going to be on SmackDown. They said it. So that's beautiful. I was happy about that. We finally get to see her the first time. Looks amazing. Looks like she don't even look like a human. She looks like a straight superhuman. But she always looked that way. But it's still just that aura she has. And then finally we get the official. Now we know it's going to be a 6-person tag. And we have the 3 of them against Damage Control. You already mentioned it before. You called this a long time ago that we were going to get this 6-on-6 or this 3-on-3 6-person tag. But for me, I was a little hesitant because I was worried about what Jay can present. I was also kind of worried about Dakota too if she was ready to go. But now
they were in the missions, Rhodesia. They were in the mission in my mentions, boy, on X weeks ago when I caught it. Oh my God, you would have thought I was the dumbest wrestling fan in the world. Oh, it's plain to see. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton and Bianca. How can you not see?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair. What are you looking at for you to think it is anything but Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair?
Oh, they did that to you.
Attention, man. This is what we do in this show. We entertain. We give you guys information that I kind of know what I'm talking about. We know what we're kind of talking about. I'm not saying that you can't be wrong, but don't come at me and be like, what are you talking about? If you want to say, hey, it should be Tiffany and we can have a discourse, don't come at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
You watch wrestling longer than they've been living, right?
Hey, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. But you also brought up Jade. Is she the best looking wrestler in history? I'm not just talking like facial, like beauty. Who looks better than her?
I would say, okay, the way that I feel about Jade is probably the way I felt about China. But again, you can't really compare it to apples and oranges, completely different times. China, I don't know if she was made to wrestle men, but that's what she was. She was just a wrestler. Where I'm quite sure in this day and age, Jade's not going to really wrestle any men. But as far as that look and that superhuman, I still haven't seen anybody who looks as good as Jade. But in a comparison, I probably would say China.
She definitely looks like she's straight ripped from like a comic book. Like, right? She because like a lot of women wear like those form-fitting outfits that kind of shows off quite a bit, but she's showing off a lot of a fit woman. Like, she's just ripped everywhere. Like, her face is constructed perfectly. Then she has like the hair. She's just meant for pro wrestling, right? Because she just stands out. You talking about that old expression about a wrestler needs to turn their heads at the airport? Like, she definitely would turn heads at any airport. Like, she's coming when she's around, right? So she's ready made for wrestling. It's funny. Actually, I saw a picture of her. I think somebody found a picture of her playing basketball. I'm not sure it was high school or early college, but she looked hella young. And somebody was like, "This Jade Cargill?" And she was probably, "Yep." Now that didn't look like the Superwoman, but
Correct.
she grew up to be a hell of a Superwoman, right? She grew up to be a hell of a Superwoman.
She's like the epitome of what the fuck, man. Like, when
you know exactly what that means. Yep.
Yeah, like exactly what that means. Like, I'm talking even men. Like, if we would have a conversation about, hey, who's the best looking guy in the history of pro wrestling? Whoever that person is, I don't think touches Jade.
In today's world, I think it's Rock. If you're talking about that build, I think it's Rock. I'm not talking about going in the ring, but just body wise, from what I see all the time, I would say Rock. Cut wise, I remember Finn used to be one bad mofo. He used to.
He's still hella cut.
Yeah,
He's
I
still
don't
hella
get to
cut.
see it though, because he's usually wearing his Judgment Day
He's
shirt.
wearing his pants and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but before
Rick Rude,
man,
but Rick Rude was
Rick
really
Rude,
had a really.
Rick Rude.
It's funny. He was like,
Warrior.
he had them little ass legs though, right? It's like it's upper body business, brother.
Legs is hard to work.
my guy
Legs
Sagi
is
tell you
hard to
about that
work,
in
man.
Body Beast. He said them chicken legs.
Legs
That's
is hard
the
to work.
power. That's the power muscles right there. But we've already talked about Jade Reddy. This is probably the best way to hide her, and I don't even want to even lead into this conversation like that, because the more important thing that I wanted to mention, as this is the final day of Women's History Month,
Come on now.
how beautiful is it to see those three women that seemingly you would say was a match thrown together. No, Matt, you had already been on, had to check on the pulse already. You knew it was going to happen. But if you think about it, it hasn't been months of build between these three said people, or these six said people. There was a baseline story with Damage Control, but adding this, some people would say this was a match that was thrown together. But take that away and just look at what we saw, the pictures we saw, the three of them pointing at the Mania sign. Cliche pictures, but the representation that we saw there, then seeing videos of people doing Bianca EST stuff. You look at those three women, all beautiful in their own right, all Black women, and just to know that there's kids, Black, white, yellow, whatever, who's looking at these three women and is like, this is what I have to look forward to. This is what I have to strive for. So the first question I was going to ask was, what did y'all think about Jade's debut? That was going to be like kind of my first part. But then secondly, having this match thrown together, when was the last time we've seen a match at Mania thrown together, quote unquote, that has such an impact on representation?
The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
First off, no, we have a whole segment for that. Don't blow my spot up for that. Answer the question. First one, what'd you think about Jade's debut? Official debut. And then two, have we ever seen a thrown together match that has such an impact like this before?
Man, I mean, was it really thrown together though? I mean, it kind of came
You can
together.
say that.
It kind of came together in a natural way in some sort. And I know that Magnificent Matt always pats himself on the back with these kind of things, but I think I was talking about Trinity and Bianca a long time ago. Like, right? Because I think Matt was like, hey, I want to see Bianca and Jade. I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather see Bianca and Trinity. Like, it was going that way. Then at some point I said, you know what? We're either going to get a tag match with Bianca and Trinity versus the Kabuki Warriors, or we're going to get Jade as a six. It'd be a great way to kind of hide her if she's not ready. Yada, yada. I can swear I said that as well. So I think we have great predictions. But I didn't really, man, I don't think it was really thrown together. I think it kind of came together a little naturally because, you think about it. You got Damage Control. They're going in on Bailey. Like, right? We need the hero. Somebody had to come save, right? And Naomi, she came out, right? They were friends in the past before she left, right? And it kind of made sense. She was like, look, I don't know what happened when I wasn't here, but I'm here now. This is what I'm seeing. I'm doing what I think is right. Bianca and Naomi are friends. It's like, hey, I got my girl back. Now, Jade coming out, I don't know what the story is with that, right? But hey, I'm here for it because all three of them, they look great together. That picture with the three of them pointing to the sign, I mean, I think that's a moment and a sight to see. But yeah, I'm great with it. I didn't really think of it as, I mean, I get what you're saying though. But I've seen worse as far as being thrown together.
What do you think? When was the last time you've seen a loosely thrown together match be this impactful on representation side?
I can't really recall off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I say thrown together is because you look at Bianca, and I know they're teasing, right? And they're just putting stuff out there. But at Rumble, it was Bianca and Jade kind of like battling they were opposing each other. And then again, even out to Tiffy and Bianca, or even Tiffy and Naomi kind of getting into it with the Elimination Chamber. So I'm saying it's thrown together just because we hadn't had months of, we know clear as day Jade is going to be a 6-person 3-on-3 tag match or 6-person match. But I personally feel like this was something that is, we kind of thought it would happen. We know that we got it here. And holy hell, it's more impactful than what I even thought it would be. So again, next year, if we have a Jade versus Bianca, it's going to mean even more to me. But Matt, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
Next year is Bianca and Rhea.
Okay.
To the point where if we want to build this up to where it is a legit night 1 or night 2, may not be night 2. Because I'm sure whatever Roman's trajectory story is, probably should be night 2. Right? So if we get Roman and Rock, nothing's bigger than that. But if you really want to have a women's match be night 1 and kill it, Rhea doesn't lose for another year. And Bianca is on a high trajectory. And we get Bianca versus Rhea night 1 main event of WrestleMania 41.
Are you the first person saying that Rhea is going to retain for another year?
I just said what I said about if we're talking about potentially for next year. If we want to do that, and who turns that down and saying that is not the second biggest match? Sorry, Cody. I'm not throwing Cody to the side because he's going to be a champion. So I guess you could argue maybe Cody and Punk.
Yeah.
Could be on that level, but God, man.
So you calling for Rhea and Bianca?
Mania 41.
Oh my God. 41. Think about that. We've been waiting for years to see. Oh boy, I'm saying, see, there it is. They're the Goosies. but back to your question. So number one,
two questions. Mm-hmm.
Number one, the presentation is what you expect from somebody who is a generational star. That entrance had everything possible that you could ever ask for outside of like Cody Rhodes style pyro. The lasers, the music,
yep,
the smoke, the camera work, how she looks. Like, I was just sitting there like,
you got to watch it.
This is how you treat
your
stars. For somebody who maybe had missed the Royal Rumble, or that could have been the first time. Hell, think about how many people for the first time they saw Jade at the Rumble actually wrestle.
Right.
Maybe the majority of people who watch the Rumble, maybe. And you double that up. She's been gone for now months. You double that up with that presentation for a contract signing. Oh, I'm locked in now. That is how you do it. So that's number one. That's number one. And I really enjoyed her promo. And then she hits her line, and then she gets so wrapped up. She still keeps the microphone in her hand. She's like, "Let's go." And it's like, okay. In WWE, you hit your line and you drop the mic. Like
remember Rock said, but she said what Rock said.
Yeah,
like you're clear.
But yes, but I love that though, right? I love that. So that's that part. Your second question, and I know it's the minority, but this is why representation matters. In that match, you have 3 black women. Really all different shades. And on the other side, you have 2 Japanese women. And I think Dakota is Irish and Samoan.
Yeah,
right? I think she's from New Zealand or Australia,
Samoan,
right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, us, because we are black, right? We gravitate to that because we haven't had it.
Right.
To be able to see them women all point at the WrestleMania sign. They're standing tall, teaming together. Yeah, we've seen against each other, right? But to see that strong type of image in a WrestleMania match, that is going to be a high-profile match. Yeah, to your point, Rhodesia, when you say thrown together, I think you kind of mean maybe like, hey, WrestleMania is this week. The match was just made official 9 days out. So this isn't something that we've been building towards where you can see it clear as day that, hey, this is the match that's going to be 30, 45 days out. But when you look at it from that perspective, God, man, that is when just a few years ago, we looked at WWE for not having great representation. And if we go 10 years ago, everything was a caricature. No matter what nationality you were. Yep. If you're black, oh, you steal things, right? Or you speak in Ebonics.
If you're a woman, you're a diva.
You're a diva. If you're Asian, oh, we got to put you with an American manager because you can't speak. Oh, you're not going to speak in your dialect. on TV. You got to learn how to speak English. And then you wonder when some of the foreign wrestlers don't get over because you got them out here trying to cut a 5-minute promo in their secondary language. If you look at that Io Shirai video,
how you
knocked
did
it
it
out of the damn park. When
Io
you can,
Sky.
yeah, like I keep saying Shirai because I mean that's her name. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But like when you are able to speak in your natural language, so you can have the facial expressions, so you can have the inflection on the words where it needs to be, and you're not just worried about trying to hit this other language. And yes, we can all read. There's movies now that we watch for 90 minutes to 2 hours that is completely
Series.
with subtitles. Series, right? So thank you for that, WWE. And AEW's doing it as well, but representation is just so fucking important. And when I watch that, I'm just like, man, like we're here. Right? We're here. But the reason why I said like this is the minority, I saw people complaining about that on social media.
Which part? Explain it how.
You're only excited because they're black women. There's no story behind
Oh,
this.
are we serious? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Minority once again. But still, that's out there. Like, that's ignorant. So we're getting these 6 women who are going to put on a show and be able to put on for their nationality. You can't ask for much more than that. So in terms of debut, re-debut, entrance, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to, has there been a match more important than this match at a short amount of time at a WrestleMania? Never. Because this match goes way over. Who gives a damn who wins? Right? Like,
right.
You're not taking in this match for wins and losses. Yes, they're going to protect everybody. It needs to be protected. We know who's going to win. This is going to be a showcase match for Jade and to do all that and move that forward. But at the end of the day, when that bell rings and we see those women in that ring together, it's going to be like, damn, man, look at where we are. And look at just how farther we can go 10, 15, 20 years from now. And that's why this is so big. This wasn't a thing years ago. Well, not at the grandest stage of them all, as they used to call WrestleMania. Never that.
Yeah.
You know what's great? We actually could potentially have 2 dominant black women in one division. We've never had that before. We never had, I want to say in any division, where we've never had 2 dominant main event characters that can headline. Like, right? Like, this is going to be phenomenal because Jade is all money, right? Because I think aside from Rhea, like I don't think they have a woman that just when you see them, you go like, damn, that's a star right there.
I love Bianca.
Oh, Bianca's there too.
Throw Bianca in there, but
Jade looked like she like something else. Like, right?
She looks superhuman.
She like something else.
She doesn't even look like a human. Actually, not even superhuman. She doesn't even look like a human in the most respectful, positive way to say that.
That's why I asked that question about like, does she have the best look in the history of wrestling? Because that is true. Like you look at her like, man, you're a fucking action figure. Like
Bianca reminds me kind of like she doesn't have the same like character or any of that. She reminds me more like a Ric Flair. Like she just has the mic skills. She looks good. She can go in the ring. You can put her out there and she can represent for your company. Like, you know, like she's like, she has everything that you would want a superstar to be. Like she's just that. And we've never had 2 of them that stand like that. You know, it's funny, Matt, you talk about toxic fans. Somebody had said, like, oh, you know, Jay wasn't on TV because her wrestling was up to par. And she came back and she's doing the same moves.
I saw that one.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. We're talking about a match and you talk about some moves.
She did the LL Cool J.
Like we not like they if there was questions about her, it was about her ring work, not the way she executed the moves she did in AEW. But even I will say though, her moves look a lot cleaner. Like on Friday night.
See, like,
you said the same moves look a lot cleaner.
Like, I don't think so. I think that is we just think that because the moves were never the issue. We didn't watch Jade in AEW was like, man, she needs to clean her moves up. No.
Oh no, that bicycle kick was kind of rough. Her bicycle kick.
To the one
she used to miss half. No. When she used to do bicycle kick, period.
Oh, right.
Sometimes she would miss. Sometimes she'd come up too short. Like, she did a good one on Friday. That's why I said she looked a little bit cleaner.
I think she's been gone, what, 6 or 8 months. Yeah, and then, like, even that tweet, like, I had responded to it, and I was like, okay, I'll take the bait, right? And once again, social media is a platform where people just throw things out there. And if it was real life, if you were in a bar, or you were out in the store, or you were at a sporting event, and you heard somebody say something stupid, typically you're not going to turn around unless it's something that is racist or ignorant or, like hateful speech to people around you. You're not going to turn around and then respond to them. You would just be like, this jackass, and you kind of keep it moving. And that's kind of what social media is, right? There's so many people that come across your feed that you would never talk to in real life. It would never say whatever they are going to say to you in real life. But that's what this is for. And I said, I'll say, all right, I'll take the bait. She has not been working on performing moves at the PC and with Natty. She's working on the in-between. Right? Okay, yep. I do a move. What do I do next? What do I do next with my facials? How do I sell? When do I get up? When do I turn that next gear on? Those are the things that we're going to see she actually worked on. We may not even see that in Mania. At Mania, we may only get a hot tag from her, 8 to 10 power moves and go home. Right? Mm-hmm. And we still won't know. But I guarantee you what? Her presentation, from the time that music hits to the time she gets in that ring, we're going to be like, holy shit, they got them the next one. So they're going to set her up, right. But I'm excited. I really am. You just think about to kind of maybe end the representation piece. They're ticking all the boxes, and they're not ticking the boxes because, and I'm not there. I do think they say, like, they've been trying to find their next Rey Mysterio for 20 years. Probably 10, to be honest. He's been wrestling for 20 plus. But they've been trying to find, like, who's our next one. And they tried. Sin Cara. Didn't work. They've tried consistently, year after year after year. Alberto Del Rio.
Like a luchador. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, all right, didn't work. Because the Mexican market, they want somebody. But you look at Gunther, non-American. Like, there's just so many that are in high spots in WWE. And yeah, they're not American, but I don't think they're there just because they're foreigners. Right. It is incredible that they are foreigners. Yeah. Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. But you're not taking that spot from them. It is not because they're not talented. You know what I mean? It's not a force feed. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's awesome. I just think for somebody who has been watching this thing for decades and remember sitting there and we as Black folks get one representation a show, and it ain't the best representation, or to not see any Japanese or Asian wrestlers, and if you did get one, it ain't the best representation. It's just awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, you know what? Let's stay on the Rey Mysterio piece. Is he an asshole?
What makes you say that? What makes you ask that?
All right, so his son Dominic turned on him, right? Mm-hmm. His protege Santos turned on him,
and
Carlito about to turn on him too.
Maybe rightfully so. Maybe rightfully so.
Maybe it ain't them. Maybe it's him.
That happens.
Well, we already said Ray was a deadbeat dad. So
Bobby
I mean,
Heenan
if you a
tried to tell
deadbeat
us
dad,
about Hogan 10 years before
he did. He
did.
Every
chance Hogan was the bad guy, and we didn't believe it.
Yep. So much so that years later, Heenan was like, "Oh, it's gotta be Hogan. Gotta be the third man, right?" Then we had to erase that moment from history. Like, "Oh, Bobby, you all right? You right this time? Chill out." Bobby, you right this time? Chill out.
Nobody thought about Hogan being the third man until Bobby said it.
I still didn't think about it because when he said it, as a fan, you watched that too, right? You watched that live?
Yep.
So I remember the line, but I didn't think anything about it. And it didn't take away from the moment when it happened for me either. Because Bobby always said stuff.
I did, just because there was rumors of Hogan turning heel. So when Hogan came out not smiling, I was like, uh-oh. Okay. It still didn't take away what we saw. Right? Like that moment of Hogan turning heel, I don't know, could ever be replicated with a face or a heel turn in wrestling now. I mean, he was the biggest.
Never. He was the biggest babyface ever.
So it would be John Cena.
Ever.
Because John Cena still never.
It wouldn't be John Cena at this point. Well, it wouldn't be him at this point.
Oh, not now. But like, say like at the height, like say if Cena would have, which he said was the thing, I guess, when he lost to The Rock, year one, he was supposed to turn heel. He had new music and everything. and then they kiboshed it at the last minute.
I don't think
So
it
that-
even would be the second because the hardcore fans want him to turn heel. Cause
And we're booing him anyway, right?
But here's
Right.
the thing, though. Because John Cena
Fickle fans.
was heel, right? That character was heel before it became babyface. So we seen
Right.
that from him, right?
Right.
Yeah,
We had
right.
we hadn't seen. Like, I know Hogan started, I think, as a heel, but we never saw that.
Not as
Like
the
we never saw
future- like
at all. We never saw. Like
Yeah.
that was way before my time, right? I only knew of the All American yellow and red Hulk Hogan, so I had never seen a heel Hogan before. So I don't think we're ever going to see that happen again because I don't think a babyface is ever going to be that popular. Maybe it's Rey Mysterio, right? Because this dude, maybe everybody can't be wrong about this guy, man, right?
I do think to that point on SmackDown when he didn't name Carlito to be the member of LWO. I looked at it two ways. I was like, damn, even Ray knows Carlito's washed. I mean, that's why he don't want him on his team. But then I did think like, yo, that is mad disrespectful. Carlito has been there since he's come back to help the LWO, and you don't put that man in.
What
He
was
gets
up with
everything
that
he deserves.
line? So maybe what was up with that line about? Was it Dom who said you're not even Latino or something? What did he say?
The non-Latino or the non, yeah.
Who was he referring to? I
He's
thought they all were Latino.
I think he's talking to Joaquin Wild.
Joaquin Wild is not
Yep.
Latino.
No, he's not. And at that point, I
Let me pull
had
it up.
blanked out and passed out looking at Zelina Vega. My God.
Hey,
Jesus
tell
Christ,
the
man.
listeners what I said, what I asked you about Zelina.
Was I listening?
Yeah, because it was already after the fact. It was like the next morning. Never mind. I'll say it.
Yeah,
So
I can't
E,
remember.
because he's still thinking. So
Man, that
E, I was like, and we know that some people could be in
Jesus.
relationships, could be married, and maybe you can look at her as like your little sister, maybe sort of, kind of. But I'm like,
Not
you're in the
wearing that.
locker room. You're in the locker room with
Man.
your team, your group, your faction, and she comes out looking like that. How do you not like salivate over her? And I'm
Man,
not trying to
oh, man.
objectify her at all. I'm just saying, like, legit, like, if you were a man who are attractive to women, how can you look at her and say, not be like, oh my God. Shit.
And, you know, it's funny that we can have this conversation because if I looked at or talked about Selena Vega like this around my wife, I'd be getting all kind of ugly faces. What you looking at?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
I
because
remember-
you probably
I
told
remember
her
one
right
ti-
before that. You probably told
You
her
go
to
cook
get in
something.
the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right, go cook something. So of course you've already started.
Well,
off with
that's her home. She should be fine doing what she's supposed to be doing. But I remember, I think you guys sent me like a picture of like somebody, and I'm looking at it, right? So you know, like I said, I'm looking at the picture, and then she's like on the other side of the couch.
Oh, she had those microscopic eyes. Like, what you looking at?
If you zoom in one more time. Oh my girl, if you don't get back in that kitchen and cook me a little something, don't worry about what I'm zooming in on. I'm trying to see.
Oh my God, man! But no, there's some women, in my opinion, that are so attractive and beautiful that if you don't like it, you're a hater because you know you can't get it,
Yeah.
or there's some form of racism in it.
Yeah.
Right. And Zelina on Friday night, and of course she's a beautiful girl anyway, woman. But Zelina on Friday night, I don't know how you look at her and don't say to yourself, man, she is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The hate can be wild out here in these streets.
Hey, going back to Wild, actually,
Mm-hmm.
this dude is not Latino.
So what is he?
His name, I'm not going to pull his name. You can look him up.
I'm pulling it up now.
But I think this
Hold on a
dude
second.
might be
Hold on,
like
hold on.
Italian or
Real
something,
quick,
man.
Real quick, before you give us
Wow.
the official
No
answer.
way.
Before you give us the official answer, let's all guess. Because I mean, if you ask me like, hey, is Joaquin Latin? I would have probably said no before he got with the LWO. I'm going to say, so does one of you guys have it in front of you?
I have the answer.
Okay. Is it a popular nationality?
Very.
Okay. I'm going to say he is Cuban.
To be fair, I don't know right now what his daddy is.
It don't matter.
Okay.
Is he Cuban?
Cuban's not popular like that.
Okay.
When
I mean,
for
it is
me,
Cuban-
for my
Cuban would be
for my
Latino, 'cause
response- yeah, Cuban
Conan
is
probably-
Latino. Latino.
yeah, that's what Conan is.
So is Scarface. Tony Montana was Cuban. The GOAT.
Sure. Having an
I don't know.
Italian playing
What is he?
Latino. I said he's very popular. You said to you, is it popular? Very popular.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost like
What's
the majority.
other one? What's the other one? What be
He
your
white.
second answer to that? Matt, I said very popular. To you is very popular. If it ain't
Filipino.
black, there we go.
Damn. Wow.
His mama's from the
Oh,
Philippines.
I didn't catch that.
Yep. Mama from Philippines.
Y'all could be related, Rhodesia. You don't even know it.
Could be.
Hit him up and see if we can get some tickets to Mania. We'll book
Please,
our flight.
please
Right.
listen. I'm
We
only
are
coming out the
gonna go next
woodworks
year.
because I
We
want to
will
go to
be
Mania.
in Minnesota next year. You two eat. We just
Is that a
figured it
fact?
out.
Is it? It is
They
Minnesota?
haven't. I mean, it will be. Yes. Yeah, but we'll be there. We are missing out on way too much. Not going. Even when we go to Mania, which we got to go to Mania, but there is way too much happening, and where our podcast is going to be this time next year for us not to be.
I told you, I boycotted these stadiums now.
Actually, you may boycott the show too. If
Oh no, I'm good. Hey,
I swear.
Hey, if
He be going to
Cody
Wembley.
doesn't win, I'm taking
Going to Wembley.
a sick day, and then I'm gonna recalibrate for the next week's show, and I'm gonna reintroduce myself as an AEW correspondent specializing in AEW independent wrestling.
He's going.
That would be
he's
fun.
going to Wembley.
That would be fun. Or maybe do that anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how you would have time, but maybe do it anyway. What else? Anything else from SmackDown?
Nope.
And what's next?
Nada.
That's what y'all got.
51.
Well, I know. Didn't E have something to talk about Cody? This probably the only time you're gonna get something out of me about Cody. I plugged him in the beginning.
This fool wanted to have a 15-minute slob fest because this man re-signed, which is great. Clap it up for Cody. Of course, more than deserved, right? Like he's gonna be the new face of the company. He re-signed, so he'll be here for years and years. And he's like, man, let's talk about this. I was like, okay, you can talk about it, but like we need a topic around it. He's like, we'll just like talk about how great he is for like 15 minutes. Everybody gets 5 minutes apiece. I was like, man, I'm not doing that. So if you got a speech and an essay prepared, we'd love to hear it right now.
So it's funny. So I thought at least Matt would catch on when I'm being sarcastic, because Matt asked him to like, hey, I need 1 or 2 topics out of each of you. And so I happened to just be seeing the Cody piece about him being re-signed. Because back in the day, he said that he wanted to retire at 40. So it's going to take him beyond 40.
How old is he?
38.
Okay, so he wanted to retire in 2. That had to be before he went to WWE, right?
This was, I think, right when he signed with AEW.
Yeah.
Damn, that man hated AEW. He signed. He was
Because
like, I'm out.
He's like, 6 years, I'm out. I'm out in 6 years.
Because I think his plan was at 40 he's going to retire, and I think he's going to move into the back office to help Tony run AEW. I might be mistaken, because this was a long time ago at this point. But no, like, yeah, I just saw the article. I just sent it because it was perfect time. I had the phone in my hand as Matt had sent that text, and then he asked, like, hey, so you have a topic around it? I'm like, yeah, we're to show appreciation to Cody for 5 to 10 minutes, right? And so Rhodesia follows up today. I guess she thinks I'm serious. So she's like, E, you want to talk about Cody Rhodes and show appreciation? I mean, hey, why not? Because you know what? We're all Cody fans, and you know, we got a future world champion that we need to celebrate. It's going to be around for the next 4 to 5 years. You know, that's big news for it. But more so for me, I figure at this point Cody's a WWE guy. I kind of feel like it, right?
Oh, not.
Yeah, because I feel like he left. I think he was like one of them kids that left rebelliously from the house and never wanted to leave, but he felt like he wasn't appreciated, right? But then once he left, he still wanted to come back, and now he's living out his dream, right? What he wanted to do, where he's ultimately saw himself, right? He's living the best version of himself. Like, this is probably who he always wanted to be.
From undesirable to undeniable. That shit didn't come out
For
of
real.
thin air.
Yep. And he coined that in AEW.
I do have a question.
But real quick, right for a second, I'm gonna forget. This is, you think about, we all have our best versions of ourselves that this is who I want to be when I grow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly who Cody wanted to be when he grew up. One of his favorite wrestlers was Ric Flair, right? You know, it's funny that was his dad's rival, right? But he kind of saw himself as a Ric Flair. Beach blonde, suits, glasses. What is Cody doing rocking right now? Yeah. He got the blonde hair like his dad. He got the expensive ass suits. He is living his dream. And I think that's why a lot of fans kind of can ride with him, because we all want that. We all kind of want to be the best version of ourselves and reach that goal. What you have, Matt?
So, do we know how long his deal is?
That's
We
what I
just
was
know
trying to look up
multi-year.
right now.
He said multi-year. I don't know when his first deal expired. Like, right?
Okay, so let's say, actually, probably to my question, it doesn't even matter. How long do you see Cody on top of WWE? And I'm talking about top.
He ain't going nowhere.
I will give him on top 2 more full years.
That was my answer.
Yeah.
That was I'm talking about top. I'm talking like, okay, now that when he gets the championship, he is the top guy. Because you can still argue right now Roman's the top guy. And there's going to be a lot of people who's going to argue Roman is going to be the top guy if he doesn't have the belt. But I'm talking about all push and all things on Cody. I have it at about 2 years. Also, I got about 2-3 years. That's about how long I have him as a top guy. I'm not saying that like he's going to fall off and then he's going to be way down the ranks, or he's going to be, you know what I'm saying, like way down the card. But like as the guy, I give him 2 years, because I think in 3 years there could be somebody that is not under contract that can sign to WWE, that can maybe take that spot, and or Braun Breaker can maybe be that in 3 years. Gunther could maybe be that in a couple years. So there's just a couple people I can see like, okay, that's their top guy. But yeah, I got him at 2 to 3.
This ain't even one of those, because you guys aren't that high on Cody now, so that's why. Because you think about it, 40.
You gotta stop saying that, dude.
No, you're not. Because
he's gonna have the listeners think that that's true.
If you guys would be more along for the story and where it ultimately will conclude, if you guys were, I know you guys like him, but you know, he's at a John Cena type of a he's like a notch below John Cena. And John Cena was doing that for at least 7 or 8 years. Like, I'm a bigger Cody fan than I was at the height of John Cena. And if it was anybody but Roman Reigns, I would be 100% behind Cody. Because of course I'm behind Cody. Like, taking out how we joke and kid and bullshit on the podcast, Cody's incredible. One of the best things that ever happened to WWE in the last 10 to 15 years. But if we're talking like storyline and such, I'm riding with Roman until the wheels fall off. If it was anybody else. The one thing you guys got to think about with Roman is he's not even part-time anymore, guys. He's like seasonal. He's a seasonal wrestler. He only shows up. He's only showing up a couple guys. We're talking about a guy, a workhorse like Seth Rollins, right? Who's showing up every week, who's making the towns, who's doing like there's no disrespect to Gunther and everybody you mentioned. Mm-hmm. But they don't have any of the factors of it that Cody has at the moment. And going into 40?
Yes, why I said 2 or 3 years.
In 2 to 3 years?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like Braun Breaker as much as anybody. I don't see him being like one of those guys.
You don't see him being the guy?
I don't see Gunther being one of those guys.
Oh, I do.
I think Gunther is going to be one of those. Because here's the thing about Gunther. Like, is he bad? Is he bad on the microphone? No. Is he great? Not really. Like, right? He's serviceable on the microphone. He's great in the ring. But you look at like the Romans, the Codys, even CM Punk, right? He's getting a little like, you put them out there on ESPN and they can represent your company in a big way, just by the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, and the way they look, etc. I don't think those guys are at that level. And then we got like whenever Cody, because I don't necessarily get the face run that he's on. Like, I'm actually surprised about how he's getting over as a face. Cause he's an old school baby face. I still don't understand how that's getting over in 2024. Like, right where it hasn't gotten over in any other decade, prior to this. I'm still kind of surprised as a big Cody fan. But once he goes heel, man, get out of here with that.
As far as the big face names, I absolutely see Braun Breaker 100%. This is still pro wrestling, so you can he has aura. So as far as like the skill in the ring, you can teach that with him, and he can get that. Braun Breaker's pretty young, right? I think like only 25, 27, something like that. Yeah. So Braun Baker, I can absolutely see him being the face of the company. Of course, not today, but in the 3 years, 2-3 years from now. Gunther, I wouldn't say that he would be the number one guy of the company, but I can see it. I mean, he has aura when he's doing his news run. He looks great. He's a great advocate for WWE. But for Rhodes, for Cody, even if he turns bad guy, I still don't think that he's going to be number one for much longer than 2 more years. And to be clear, Cody, I am absolutely a huge Cody fan. I respect him a lot, what he's done with pro wrestling, betting on himself along with his friends in AEW to do All In, which we wholeheartedly supported.
Yeah, I love that line too. That he said
What?
that on Monday about
What?
like the connection he has to that city, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Cody's absolutely the man. But again, you're going against the tribal chief. You're going against what I feel is my family. Just like how you feel Cody is your brother. You got Roman, who's
until
my
the
cousin.
wheels fall off. Until the
And
wheels
that-
fall
and
off.
that's
Just
a
like The
fact.
Rock. Just like The Rock. Like a lot of people feel like, you know, The Rock is taking Cody's place. Not like in terms of like what the main event was going to be, but the die hard, eat, sleep, breathe Cody Rhodes fans is like, Rock can't just come in here and take away what Cody's been working for. It's like, well, it's not about that. This is The Rock. And so then when I did that whole shut the fuck up, it's a Rock thing, it's because this man is actual like legend. He is a Mount Rushmore guy that if he wants to do something outside of taking Cody's spot, let him do it because it's going to turn out great. And that's a conversation that I would love to have too one day after this is all said and done, is just how much better this run was because of The Rock. Because there was a lot of conversation, we've even talked about it here on the pod, of that The Rock has taken away from the WrestleMania build because it's been all about him. But you can absolutely argue that if it wasn't for The Rock, we may not be as excited about
or
this
entertained
WrestleMania
going
as we
into
are
it.
now.
Yeah.
And it'd just be fun to see like, okay, it's stamped. It's over. This run is over. Now we're moving on to Backlash. All right, let's look at it now that we have everything. How did that run to Mania work?
Just one last thing on that. On countless documentaries, shows, and it's probably very old school wrestling thinking, but there is, I don't even call it a fine line. It's clearly defined. When your legends come back, like you said, the ones who is a Mount Rushmore, no matter what happens, if we live as a human species for another 500 years, Rock is going to be up there. When he comes back, shut up, it's The Rock. And you hear it all the time. The old school wrestlers will say to the young talent, listen, they're coming here. They're bringing more eyes on this product. That means more money for you. I think I just saw it recently, like they're putting food on your table. Like, shut up, it's The Rock. And I know in the years past, especially in WWE, and I was a little guilty of it, and I'll admit it, there was times where we would get somebody coming back, everybody except for Undertaker, and that me being a hypocrite because Undertaker is my favorite wrestler. But, you know, he would come back, and he would take a spot from somebody for Mania. But now that we have 2 nights of Mania, that's not even a thing anymore. The more eyes you can bring onto this product, the better and more paycheck you can negotiate yourself for when you come up for your contract.
And I do think too, this is a little bit different, E, because there is no spots being taken. We're actually getting an extra match we weren't going to get, right? So it would be different if we got Rock and Roman, and they ran with the Cody Rhodes injury storyline. So he's not even on Mania. Okay, then he did take.
No, that would be bad. That would be
right,
bad.
but
Yep.
no, they added Rock, and then they added a match and we're still getting what the end result was supposed to be at the Rumble, which is Cody and Roman. So I do think like this is by far best possible case scenario.
You know, I was never one of those fans that got caught up in someone taking someone's spot type thing. Because I feel it's kind of like in real life, right? If someone takes my position, then I wasn't that good at it in the first place. Like, right? The
That's
person
not
should saw the vet.
Or
I
somebody's
can't say for
somebody's
you,
playing
but
favoritism.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's,
so if your
for
boss
me,
is
that's
playing
not always true.
favoritism, and you're like, hold on a second, like this person just got here, has shown nothing.
I'm talking.
The results are
We're
not
talking
as good as
about.
mine.
Let's talk about in the spirit of competition, then, right? If you're playing on a basketball team and you're the star shooting guard, and then they bring in somebody else to play over you, then maybe you weren't. Yeah, that's what that kind of is, right?
Yeah.
So, and that might be the fault of that crazy, nasty man that was running creative, that he couldn't put people in positions for them to see and get over better than the older stars that he was bringing back. But I think that wasn't the case this time. I think that the universe solely wanted to see the end of this story. Now, we didn't actually have like almost a 2-year story to kind of finish out, and that we were hoping for. I think it would have been different. I think it just was like the stars weren't aligned for that match in this moment. I felt like it was, as I said, like for WrestleMania 40. Like right when we talked about Rock coming over and we thought it was going to be one of our shows we talked about there being a whole they said that it's going to be a tribal, what was it, a tribal jury or something like that. It was going to judge Rock or somebody.
That
was it?
Like November or something like that? It was
yeah.
It's
like tribal court.
And then Rikishi big on Twitter and was just like, I'll be there or whatever.
We thought it was going to be Rikishi. We thought it was going to be all the old heads coming. And then we thought we was going to hear the Rock's music. Yep. If you smell Rock. We had a whole thing we planned out. Like, we was like, this is going to be it. You know, it's going to be the Bloodline versus Rock. Like, that was the moment. But we didn't get that, right? And instead, we got Cody, right? And then Cody got over huge with the crowd. He ended up losing, which created like another space for people to want to see him get his win back at the next Mania. So it all kind of lines up, because if it didn't line up the way it lined up, we wouldn't have got this heel Rock. So like this Rock that we have when he's talking about he doesn't like when people tell him what to do. What 15, 20 years, an old man was telling you what to do. When that
Oh,
old man told your ass to stop, yes, boy, yes, him.
Wow.
Put the belt up, y'all. We get the coffee. But see, now today he can talk about even back then 20 years ago, all them F-bombs wouldn't fly. Like you on Instagram, all the stuff that he's doing, there's no way in heck that Nasty Vince would let him do all that. So this is a new day and age that he can reinvent himself. He can kind of get over on the new audience. It's beautiful. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right?
That and I thought what was great too, or not maybe great, but it's like interesting, was when they showed on SmackDown the video package, and then they showed going off the air. I don't know if you guys remember the video package they showed when he was beating up Cody, and then they actually showed part of when they went off the air. And they bleeped him saying fuck, but they still showed it. And I was like, okay, well, they're leaning into it. Yeah, you can't be on Fox or USA. I guess you could be on USA saying it. But like, yeah, I completely understand bleeping it. But for them to still put eyes on him saying it, I was like, yep, they're doing it on purpose. And it's working. Poor little baby on TikTok crying her eyes out.
Baby.
It is 100% working.
Don't say poor little baby now, man. It's gonna be on the air.
No, we have the receipts.
Correct.
We said poor little baby. Not saying I called her mama Debbie.
You. Yeah, that second part was to you, buddy.
Oh, was it? I didn't see Eshaun. It just says number 1, and it was number 2, followed right behind it. And I was minding my own bit. I'm picking up my mama from the airport. I have no idea what's going on in this chat. So don't bring me into it.
Hey, could you imagine him having the replies voiced on his Bluetooth in the car?
I already knew. See, this is what I'm talking about. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Right? I saw the notification pop up on the car play, and Jesus told me, he said, E, don't press that button.
Don't press that button.
Don't press that button. But my mama think Rhodesia is like the sweetest little. Oh, Rhodesia, she's just so sweet. Has she known you've been associated with the filth in that text, it would have changed her perception. I think my week would have been ruined.
I think
that was Jesus.
She'd be more proud. I think she'd be more proud. She'd be more proud. She said that she has those convictions and can still portray a sweet, innocent person. See, I like that.
She'd been like, pussy, who getting some pussy? What's going on?
Oh my God. Incredible stuff. What else y'all got? I got a couple things from AEW, and not a lot, just because we don't have a lot of time. But
Swerve I saw 30 seconds.
Swerve is now officially the number 1 contender. So clap it up for that. And then I just watch Ospreay out there, and I'm just like, because All In is their WrestleMania, there is just no way they don't build to that. And I need a build. I need a proper build. Not just come July, somehow Ospreay's the number 1 contender, and now he takes on. No, I will give me a build. And that match could be the biggest match AEW puts on by far this year. So clap it up for them two, at least, for sure. Willow now is the number 1 contender for the TNT or TBS Women's Championship, which I really like, because now there's at Dynasty, all right, does Mercedes cost her the title? Or does she win it and then Mercedes is her first defense? So I like that there's a story behind that too. So
I can't wait till we deep dive that one. I can't wait till we deep dive that.
Man, like I keep saying that, I think that Tony Khan's putting a lot of things in place to kind of continue to push that company forward. And like those ratings for that show were very disappointing, to say the least. However, they're up against a couple of things right now. Of course, it's March Madness, right? But it's also Mania season. Yep. And WWE is right on such a high right now. All AEW needs to do is continue to focus on improving their show week in and week out, right? This show, and if they can look in the mirror and say, hey, this show is better than last week's show, and they keep making improvements, they'll be where they need to be, right? Because the cream rises to the top, right? And so at some point, like, they keep on consistently put on good quality pro wrestling TV shows. And the key thing is TV shows, right? I know we love pro wrestling and we love the matches, but I think that people who watch these TV shows, they want a little bit more than just the matches, right? They want to feel a little something for the wrestlers and the competitors in the ring. And they're getting that at a high level with WWE and other forms of entertainment. So if they can just continue to do what they do, improve their show, and truly make people feel something for the characters in the ring, they'll be fine. It might take them another year and a half to get to where they were 2 years ago, right? Yeah. But they can certainly get to there if they're just patient, right? With the video packages, I love they're doing video packages, right? Now that might be some of their lowest ratings, but don't stop doing them because it's the right thing to do, right? It's the right thing to do. You're introducing who Shibata was on that show. A lot of people that's one thing we talk about it. Stop assuming everyone knows everybody backstories on these TV shows. That video package introduced that character and made that match mean a lot more in that moment. Keep doing those things, right? It eventually give some time. I'm assuming they're gonna get a big deal coming up soon, right? So they have to worry about the monies, right? Just focus on improving your show, and things is gonna work out big for that company.
And to that point too, right? The video packages. Say your fan base watches everything. Cool. The video packages, though, is to condense the story or the match or the feud into a 30, 60, 90-second package to what I should remember most about what happened. Right? Because we all can take something differently away from said match, said feud. But when you run it back and you tell me exactly what I need to be focused on, okay, now I know which way I should be thinking. Now I know exactly what was the biggest deal out of said segment. The one thing that irritated me a lot, and I guess maybe this is the difference from matchmaking and promoting. So Shibata and Ospreay started out Dynamite.
Started the show.
Really good match. Cool. Shibata loses. Right call. Nobody's ever going to say it wasn't. Problem is, though, we go right before the main event match on Dynamite where we're running down Collision, and now we're promoting Shibata in a 6-man tag for Collision. He just lost. Why do I care about seeing Shibata on Collision out of something that is nothing to do with Ospreay? You gave me nothing. I just saw this man lose. It needs to be more than just, we get to see Shibata wrestle because he almost died years ago, and every time we get a chance to see him again, it is a blessing. I get that part. But tell me now, in the construct of your company, why are you promoting a match of somebody who just lost and gave me nothing else around it for me to now tune in on a Saturday to watch him wrestle again? That's the kind of stuff that I would love for them to just clean up. I told Rhodesia, I would just love to get Tony Khan's ear for a few minutes and just ask him a couple, because I just want to know, right? Just ask him his thought process on some of these things. And maybe I may walk away and be like, okay, perfect. I understand. He may have information to say, well, Matt, look, when we do this and do this, our numbers come back that say this. That's why we keep leaning into it. Hey, we show, to your point, every time we show a video package, our minute by minute numbers decrease or whatever. The popularity stops. So that's why we don't run it the way we run it. Cool. At least you got some information behind it. I just watch sometimes and be like, man, if you just move that, you could get so much more out of it.
I want to respond to that. So directly, I don't think the average lay person put 2 and 2 together when it comes to that. Okay, we just saw him lose. Now we're going to watch him on Saturday. I'm going to tune in and watch. The average lay person doesn't put that together. But that is still indirectly building those seeds in your head. You showed me right now that he wasn't worthy to win a match. So why should I even waste my time on Saturday? Maybe on the flip side of that, though, maybe TK could be thinking, hey, you like that he had a great showing. and it's something that you may like, guess what? You get a chance to see him again on Saturday. So again, on the wrestling psychology of it, it makes absolutely no sense. But for marketing, it may. Or you could have just easily had that match somewhere else on the card and then mention it later. But like I said, for me, I'm kind of in the position where I don't have the wrestling mind psychology like you would, and that's clear and that's evident, and I'm never going to be ashamed to say that. But I can also be kind of just the casual fan to interpret stuff. I didn't have a problem with it. Hearing it, absolutely, that makes sense. That would make me know psychologically that I don't care about Shibata. He just lost. But if I am that segment of people, and maybe this is what TK would say to you, hey, if they like that showing, they loved how that match went, you get an opportunity to see that person again on Collision. And that's maybe what he's thinking.
You know, it's funny when Matt and I talk about AEW, like Matt always kind of hits like the real high level stuff. Like, right. It's stuff like I'll notice, but it's almost like one of those things to where if you look past it, you don't have to, it's like one of the things you can look past.
You can look
like,
past.
it don't really hit you. But that their show, they have a lot of high level and low level flaws to the show, which they can just tighten up. Like, right. Once they can just tighten up those little loose ends, they're gonna have a really, really great show. Man, I know it's supposed to be a surprise, but we got Matt Cardona right on the Collision. Like, I know he's not signed.
That's fun.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess people can go back and see that show. But what if they had said, "Hey, we got a big surprise on Collision."
That's
Tune in.
right.
You know, that kind of stuff, right? They didn't have to say what it was or what match was going to be. Hey, you might want to check out Collision on Saturday. We got a big surprise for you. We're going to have a big match with a big returning superstar. Now everyone's tuning in to see what it is.
Or you say Tony Khan has just confirmed this could be on Wednesday. Now who knows when? Say maybe that they didn't get to do it on Thursday or Friday, but Tony Khan has just confirmed.
No. They taped those shows the day after Dynamite.
No, Collision was live yesterday.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
right.
So just say Tony Khan has confirmed. Someone has just taken Adam Copeland's open invitational from his past and is coming to take the TNT title. Who that is, we'll have to wait and find out on Collision. Oh my God! Now we got to figure out who that could be.
That's even more. Oh, it's from Edge's past. Who could it be?
Exactly.
Like, right? If you don't, because like if you don't want it to be too big of a surprise, right? Mm-hmm. But if you want to go ahead and have people think that it's yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, those are some of the things that they can do to improve that show. Because it's really disappointing when you see some of these ratings and the amount of time they have on those shows.
Just build. But to your point, keep doing what you're doing because they are on a really strong run. I was listening to somebody, and they said, like, if it wasn't for, may have been Cass on the Masked Man show, he said that if it wasn't for WWE and how hot they are running in Mania mode, that Dynamite has been his favorite show for the last 2 months. And he's not somebody, he is, of course, a bigger fan of WWE, but he watches everything and enjoys everything. And I think that's saying something, right? But to your point, hey, after Mania now, let's see what that looks like. All right, I guess that's it. We out of here, right? So, big day on Wednesday's pod. We are going to talk Raw. We'll probably hit on the Roman and the Bray documentary.
I gotta get the Phoenix ready already. 19
preview on the same day, and I think you actually brought up, and we can do it, of course, on Wednesday. Like, so we've done our Mount Rushmores. Thank you guys for listening and enjoying those. But he's like, we should kind of go over some of our favorite WrestleMania moments. It doesn't have to be a match; it can just be a moment. So that'll be fun to do on Wednesday with Brandon too. And then we'll be back with you guys Saturday night after night 1, Sunday night after night 2. Somebody's gonna be sad, somebody's gonna be happy, and somebody may just be laughing through the whole damn thing.
Somebody might be crying in the car.
Nobody's gonna be sad because if Cody loses, I'm taking a sick day. Call it right now, y'all. Friends and fam.
Oh, I'm not gonna take a sick day on a night.
I'm not gonna be there. I'm Magic Johnson.
I will
ain't gonna
FaceTime
leave
you
him.
over and over and over again on night 2. If Cody loses and you try to act like you don't want to come on the show, I will.
Do not
FaceTime
disturb,
you
baby girl. Do not disturb.
All you gotta do is call twice, and it comes right through.
That's all right. You know what? You gotta show up on Wednesday though. We'll
That's
just
true.
hold it for you until Wednesday.
Yeah.
You can't take 2 sick days off back.
I told you. I'm getting my voice warmed up for that.
And then by some chance, if you've lost your voice and you just having the worst, I wouldn't want that to happen to you. Gotta be back that next Sunday.
I'll have too many collision, rampage, and AEW notes. We won't have time for none of that. Yeah, we won't have time for none of that. Yeah.
Like episode 168 is gonna be like WrestleMania 40 night 2. But then like, people be like, why are y'all talking about WrestleMania night 2 and 2?
Hey, just in case I've already moved some
Back.
funds so I can renew my Honor Club membership. I mean, I'm already prepared for worst case scenario. That's what I do. I prepare for the worst. So I'm already good.
Oh my God. On that note, we out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I didn't hit the socials, but that's F&W, Twitter. That's Freakin Wrestling on YouTube. We are also on Instagram. We are on in TikTok. 5 stars, comment, subscribe, all of that. Love you guys. We will see you on Wednesday.